Hello everyone, and this is Dr. Gagandeep Tarni. Today we'll be discussing very briefly about Victorian age and Victorian literature. As you can see on your on the screen, that I have mentioned 3 years, 1830, 1832 and 1837 to 1901 as the period of Victorian age. The literature written during these years is called Victorian literature. So 1830 is taken to be the beginning of Victorian age by some scholars. Some scholars take 1832, the passing of Reforms Bill, as the beginning of Victorian age, and by some the accession of Queen Victoria to the throne of England in 1837 is taken to be the beginning of Victorian period. Now we will also see briefly we'll see the features of Victorian age. The very first feature that I have written is an observation by Compton Rickett. Compton Rickett has written the book on history of English literature, so you can refer to that. The closer appropriation of literature to social life is very marked in the Victorian era. This is a very important observation because we define literature as the mirror of life. So whatever affects life becomes part of literature. The writers always try to portray the social upheavals or the social changes that come up in society, be it political, be it economic, all the changes that affect the life of an individual, they are usually portrayed by writers in their literary works. Now, another important feature of this age was the development of science. And due to the rapid development of science, the material life of the people was changed. And an important development in this period was the book by Charles Darwin's The Origin of the Species. And when his work came, it was shattering for the religion, and because till date it was believed that that the human beings are descendants of Adam and Eve. So when Darwin's theory Darwin's theory of evolution came, it stated that man has descended from apes, and Adam and Eve are not our parents. So this was very shattering for the people, because till date they have believed whatever religion has taught them. So there was a dilemma that whether people should believe in what religion said, or they should go with the scientific advancements or whatever science told them. Another thing that came up was materialism and commercialism, and this led to restlessness in the lives of people. Capitalism made its mark, so the society was also divided into capitalists and laborers. So there was a lot of restlessness among people, because the emphasis was more on earning money, on accumulating wealth, than on the morals. The third point is that writers of the age, they also got influenced by scientific methods, and we can see the glimpses of these effects in their writings. Tennyson, for instance, Lord Alfred Tennyson, for instance, he put great emphasis on minute details in his works. Then the problems of heredity and environment, they were also taken up in the novels, and the novelists like Dickens and Bronte sisters, they took up the influence of heredity and environment on the lives of people, and they portrayed this through their characters. The next point is uh, this was age of spiritual disturbance, as I've already told you that when the roots of religion were shattered by Darwin's theory of evolution, obviously there was lots of spiritual disturbance. People did not know what to believe in science or to believe in what religion said. But even in disturbed times, we have a very steadfast figure in the name of Robert Browning. And Browning writes his famous lines, God's in his heaven, all's right with the world. Browning is there in your syllabus also. And Browning is known as the poet of optimism. So, whatever may happen, Browning always ended his poems on an optimistic note. The next important thing that happened was industrial revolution. The industrial revolution that began in the earlier periods reached its climax in this age, and the merry England was turned into sooty one, giving rise to numerous problems. The economy shifted from agrarian to industrial one, and this gave rise to rich industrialists and the laborers. I have already told you that it created industrial revolution, created two classes in the society. One were the rich industrialists and the other was the labor class. And the industrialists, the capitalists, they exploited the laborers to earn more and more profit. Then another important point was the policy of laissez-faire. This is a French phrase which means allowed to do, and it favors non-intervention of government to promote free market. Adam Smith expounded this policy in his Wealth of Nations, but even Adam Smith did not ignore its drawbacks. So next we have important writer Charles Dickens. Charles Dickens, in his Hard Times is also a text prescribed in your syllabus. The novel has been prescribed in your syllabus, and in this novel, he deals with the psychological problems of the characters, and he also attacks the capitalist tendencies in this novel. And the last important feature, the rise of democracy. So the expectations that started with French Revolution, they were fulfilled to a large extent during this period because democratic way of thinking prospered. Now we will have a look at the major literary figures of this age. We have Lord Alfred Tennyson. Has also been, his poems have also been prescribed in your syllabus. Tennyson was a poet laureate of England and Ireland, and his major poems, his major works were poems chiefly lyrical. The Lady of Shalott, most of you must have read this poem. The Lotus Eaters, Ulysses is part of BA final syllabus. The Princess, a medley, and In Memoriam, and then The Charge of the Light Brigade. This poem has also been prescribed in one of the undergraduate classes. The next important poet is Robert Browning, famous for writing dramatic monologues. I'll share another lecture with you on dramatic monologues. Then his famous poems, My Last Touches, The Last Ride Together, Grammarian's Funeral, they are all dramatic monologues, and they all end on as I've already told you, Browning was a very optimistic poet, and all these poems, all these dramatic monologues written by him, they end on a very optimistic note. Then Matthew Arnold. Arnold's famous poem Dover Beach. In Dover Beach, Scholar Gypsy, Sohrab and Rustam, to name a few. Then we have D.G. Rossetti. D.G. Rossetti was a painter and founder of Pre-Raphaelite Brotherhood. And in his sonnets, he made pictures to describe the scenes. Then Christina Rossetti, she wrote devotional poems and children poems, has written some famous Christmas carols. Then I have mentioned the names of few important novelists of this period. Charles Dickens, we have already talked about Charles Dickens. Dickens' Hard Times is already there in your syllabus. Thomas Hardy, Hardy's novels, and he made the locale of Wessex popular through his novels. Hardy's novels are also known as Wessex novels. Hardy, again, whether you take Jude the Obscure or you take Tess the D'Urbervilles, Tess the D'Urbervilles has also been made into a Hindi movie, and in both the novels he is talking about the psychological problems faced by women in particular in the male dominated world. The Bronte sisters, we have the three of them, Charlotte, Emily, and Jane. And Charlotte Bronte's Jane Eyre, very famous novel, was there in this syllabus earlier. Then we have Rudyard Kipling, we have H.G. Wells, then we have George Eliot. George Eliot is the pen name. The actual name was Mary Ann Evans, because it was since the system was patriarchal, so it was believed that maybe women cannot write that good as men can. So Mary Ann Evans took pen name as George Eliot, so that even before reading her novels, people should not be prejudiced that it is written by a woman, so it may not be that good a work of art. So we have this is all about the Victorian age and Victorian literature. I hope you found it easy to understand. And this, I must tell you, this is not something which completes the Victorian age. These are just the important points that everyone should know. But you have many history books in our library, so the students must go to those history books to have a more detailed information on Victorian literature and Victorian age. Thank you so much.